sis, broke is temporary if you stop acting rich. Now hold on. This is not about shaming women on not liking nice things. This is about building and not chasing after the appearances, but actually building something long-term, building financial freedom, building a legacy. That's what this is all about. Before you get started in the comments, I like nice things. I like the vacations, the handbags, the designer, the cars, the houses, all that stuff. But there's a time for everything. And right now, the timing is for us to be able to build up that financial freedom, for us to be able to build that sustainable lifestyle, for us to be able to build and get to the next level, for us to be able to climb. Right now, sis, we are climbing. We are getting to the next level, and it's going to take sacrifice. So it's going to take you not acting like you are rich. And trust me, I've been there. I was at a season in my life where I was married to a person, and this person told me, Christina, fake it to make it. And I'm like, fake it to make it? And this person's like, yeah, fake it to make it. I'm like, no, that doesn't resonate with me. But I'm stunting. I'm living above my means. I'm showing off the lifestyle. I'm doing all this stuff. And I was doing it prematurely, and I just so happened to fall into the lifestyle, but I was already overextending myself, and it was exhausting because I had to work double time and triple time. Why? Just to afford the lifestyle of me living on the ocean in South Beach. So I'm here to tell you, instead of us looking rich, we need to be rich. And being rich is different from actually being wealthy. And this is coming from a woman who knows the difference between being wealthy and looking wealthy. There is a big difference. So let's break down what the actual difference is. When it comes to you looking wealthy, that means that you have the designer clothes on. That means that you have the nice fabrics. That means that you got the nice perfume. You got your makeup beat, your hair done, your nails done. You got everything. You got the jewelry, the Van Cleef, the Rolly. You have all this stuff. You in the Mercedes. You got the condo on the ocean. That was me. Bank account was on E. Why? Because I was in this vicious cycle where I had to eat what I killed, which means that every single day I gotta show up so that I can make money. I was not building wealth. When I realized that I was just making money, and that money was going to the designer, the money was going to the condo on the ocean, the money was going to the Mercedes, the money was going to the jewelry. When I realized that everything that was coming in was also going out, I was frustrated, and I had to sit down with myself and say, hey, Christina, you're not building wealth. You want to know why you're not building wealth? Because you're not accumulating assets. Because every time that you get an asset, you sell it so that you can go buy a designer. So that is what I mean by there's a big difference, because the money that's coming in, once again, is going out. But where are you saving? Where are you parking your money in places where it's compounding? Where are you growing your money? Where are the opportunities where you're making passive income? Where are you investing? I wasn't doing any of those things. Why? Because the money was going to my appearance. The money was going to looking rich. The money was going to looking wealthy, when I wasn't even building on my portfolio, where I wasn't accumulating assets, where my money wasn't working for me. So once I realized that mistake that I was making, I had to pivot. And so I told myself, I said, okay, I'm going to buy real estate, and I'm not going to sell the real estate anymore, because as soon as I sell that house, I'm going to blow that 50,000. I'm going to blow that 100,000. Like, that money's going to be gone in less than 6 months. So I'm not going to sell the house anymore. So now this game of life became a monopoly game for me, where I started collecting real estate. And I said, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put renters in there. I don't want to deal with the renters. So guess what I'm going to do? Hire a property manager. So now I started, one, accumulating assets. The second thing is investing in diversifying. So then what I started doing was investing in stock. Then I started investing in crypto. And I was going and creating passive income for myself. I went and opened up a life insurance policy. I started leveraging compound interest in several different industries, including the foreign exchange market. And that was the game changer for me, because at that time, fast forward a couple years into the future, I woke up one day and I was like, wow, I make $10,000 a month passively. Wow, I make $20,000 $30,000 a month passively. Wow. I make $30,000 a month passively. I don't have to work for this money. This money just comes in like clockwork. When that happened, that is when I realized, Christina, you're building wealth, because you used to have to work for money and then you would use that money to buy the nice stuff. And now you don't have to work for money and you're still able to have the nice stuff and buy the nice stuff. So I'm here to tell you that there's a difference between looking wealthy and being wealthy. Looking wealthy is you obtaining the materials. Being wealthy is you having a sense of freedom. So that means that you're financially independent or financially stable. That means that you have freedom to do whatever you want, meaning that you don't have to show up to work, meaning that you can start a business if you want, meaning that you can take your son to soccer practice, meaning that you can decide if you want to build your schedule, take a call here or make an appointment there. That is freedom. That is freedom for you to be able to create the life that you want to live, for you to be able to live anywhere in the world or travel anywhere in the world, for you to be able to shop without looking at the price tags. I promise you, I swear on everything, when I shop today, I never, ever, ever look at the price tag. Why? Because I don't have to. Why? Because money keeps flowing in abundantly, because I have multiple streams of income. And that's what I want for you, sis. I want you to have multiple streams of income, but that's going to take sacrifice. You know what the sacrifice is? The sacrifice is you investing that money and putting it somewhere else where it's going to work for you. I'm here to tell you today that you do not have to work for money, that you need to put that money in a place where it's going to work for you, because that's how you're going to become wealthy. And what I want is for you to become that wealthy woman that you have always dreamed of being. Sis, you're a millionaire. Sis, you are financially independent. Sis, you are everything that you ever said that you wanted to be. You are her. Why? Because you made a decision. You made a decision to be her. And I'm so proud of you, because that was a hard decision. And that took sacrifice. That took dedication. That took motivation. That took courage. And you did it. Instead of us looking rich, we're going to be rich. And the equation to that is, one, for our money to make money for us, which means two, we need to invest it, which means three, that we need to generate passive income, which means four, that we need to go ahead and start collecting assets, real estate, stocks, crypto, insurance policies, trust funds, things like that. That is what we need to get into, because that is the formula to us building wealth, so that we can decide, hey, I'm gonna fire my boss, so that we can decide, hey, I'm gonna retire myself, I'm gonna retire my spouse, I'm gonna create a business for my kids, I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to live abroad. You have that sense of freedom, and freedom is the key. But you know what I've noticed? I've noticed that people, they want to celebrate the glitz and the glam. So if you post a vacation picture, if you post a Chanel bag, if you post a Van Cleef, if you post any of those things, you courtside. If you post those things, people are clapping it up. But if you post you on a laptop, if you post you in a suit walking into a conference, if you post a book on personal development, people are not clapping for you. So the issue that I see is that out here in social media, people are clapping for the already made image. They're clapping for the result, but they're not clapping for the work. They're not clapping for the late nights on the laptop. They're not clapping for you building out that program. They're not clapping for you sacrificing and deciding to create a business for yourself. They're not clapping for that. For you studying for your license, they're not clapping for that. They're clapping for the picture of you with the Chanel bag. I'm here to tell you, do not fall into that trap, sis, because you're going to have the Chanel bag. You're going to have courtside tickets. You're going to have the Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. You're going to have the mansion. You're going to have the $50,000 vacations. You're going to have it, but there is a time. Right now, what we need to do is we need to focus on building that business. We need to focus on investing. We need to focus on reallocating our money to assets. That's what we need to focus on, sis. Why? So that we can actually build up that capital, build up that passive income, build up our wealth, protect our wealth, so that we have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm shopping without looking at a price tag. I'm going to go get the Chanel. I'm going to go get the Benz. House, the Beamer, the Bentley, the Rolls Royce. I'm gonna go get it because right now you have your money working for you, which is what you want. So like I told you at the beginning, because I want you to know what the difference is. So I want you to think about this. If nobody could see what you're buying, would you still buy it? If Instagram shut down tomorrow, would you still spend money the right way? That hit home for me because I realized that some of my purchases were for me because I actually liked it, but some of my purchases was for me to stun online, for me to get approval and validation. And that's what freed me is I decided I'm done with getting external validation. I don't need it anymore. So I don't need you to know what kind of car that I drive. I don't need you to know how big my house is. I don't need you to know how fat my bank account is. I don't need you to know when I'm going on vacation. I don't need you to know that I fly first class every single time. I don't need you to know that. So I don't have to take a picture. I don't need your validation. I'm just living for the experiences now. Why? Because I reached that level of wealth. And that's what I want for you, sis. I want you to reach that level of wealth. But like I said, it's going to take dedication. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take sleepless nights. Are you willing to give up sleep? Because there's this old saying, sleep is for suckers, which means that you can sleep when you die. But I'm all about self-care, so don't take that literally. What I want you to know is that when I was building my business, I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. Now I wake up at 8. But before, I was waking up at 5 o'clock every single morning, and I was recording videos. I was doing training. I was working on my business from 5 to 7, and then 7 a.m. I wake my kids up so that they can be in school by 8:30. So those were the sacrifices that I was making. I was sacrificing sleep. I was sleeping maybe like 4 hours a day while I was in that building phase. And sis, that's where you are. You're in that building phase. So I want you to know that right now, I need you just to be a little bit patient with yourself. I need you to reinvest that money instead of you spending it on a purse or even the latest cell phone. Everybody wants to go for the iPhone 18. For what? The 17 is just as good. But we were brought up to be consumers to where we need to go consume, 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 consume. I need you to sacrifice and not get the latest phone. Why? So that you can use that $200-$300, that $500, and you can invest it into your business so that you can build something that you own. Because last time I checked, your job, your position cannot be inherited. And last time I checked, you being a mom, you want to leave a legacy. You want to do it for your last name. You want to do it for your family. You want to do it for your kids. So please make those sacrifices. And instead of looking rich now, actually focus on getting rich. Actually set up that trust fund. Actually go and invest. Actually go and acquire assets. Actually build that business up to 7 figures and even 8 figures if you bad like me. As we wrap up this video, sis, what I want you to do is I want you to comment below and let me know what is one thing that you're going to decide to stop spending money on so that you can build this amazing future that you want, so that you can get to that financial freedom, so that your future self can actually be proud of you. What I want you to do is I want you to know and believe broke is just a season. It's not an identity. You can learn. You can grow. You can evolve. You can mature. You can get to that next level. You can climb that ladder, whatever ladder it is. People always say it's the corporate ladder, but not really. You can open up that business. You can invest. You can create that portfolio. You can get financial freedom. You can live that laptop lifestyle. You can do whatever you want to do because, girl, you are invincible. So that's what I want you to know. And never forget that, sis, you're a boss. So if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because this is a bad series that you do not want to miss. And go ahead and hit that like button because you know it helps the algorithm. And I already told you to comment below. But if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about starting a business and you don't have to start from scratch, comment the word freedom because I got some gems for you.